Hi everyone, welcome to the show. So update, went out, bought a Jeep inline 6 4-barrel carburetor conversion. Came complete with a distributor, which that's part of it. The other part's over here. Ignition system. Came with the intake manifold, which I'm thinking about what we're going to do is we're going to take this sucker. We're going to cut it here and here and rub the tubing, run the tubing. People were mowing the lawn, so it kind of screwed me up. So hopefully that doesn't screw up the audio too much. I apologize. So like I said, we're going to run. Okay, this keeps goofing up on me. So we got all our little kit, and as you can see, what I've been doing is we're going to take the intake manifold. We're going to modify that. We just need 6 tubes coming off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're just going to run the manifold down into here. So we got some, basic steel right here. So it's going to be fairly easy to just cut. We're going to cut on a slight diagonal. I'm thinking my Sawzall is going to do a fine enough cut doing this. Again, just kind of lowest budget possible. This bit here is not structural to the manifold. What it is on the Jeep's exhaust, there's a little plate that goes right here that a little thermostat opens up, and when the vehicle's not hot enough in the wintertime, it heats this up, which helps the carburetor function better. So my goal is, I don't want to run obviously exhaust underneath there, but because I will have the hot water coming through here and the tubing that's already available, I'm probably just going to tee off and run something up underneath here just to emulate the way that works in the Jeep. That's the plan, at least. So we're going to basically use what we have stock that's available to us. One of the things I'm dealing with right now is this is the old Nissan distributor ring right here. So the one from the Jeep is much larger and much thicker. So the way this is set up on the Nissan is it comes out, where's my fancy little calipers? Oh, you'd think I'd have all this stuff preset. So I just goofed it up again. All right, so let's go back to our little measurement. So the way this is on the Nissan is there's exactly this much negative space underneath here. So it's got a flat bottom and rest on the bottom of the Jeep, so on the bottom of the Nissan. So we kind of have the option of, do we grind off the material here and risk bringing this whole shaft out of balance? Do we go out and just get sandpaper and just put a drill on here, is my plan, and just file down this as much as possible until the ring can slip up further, and then cut off the bottom of it with a cut-off ring. That's kind of where I'm aiming for right now. And then we have all the advantages of using parts that are kind of set up to run without a computer as is, and are kind of set up to work without me having to dick with them too much. So as you can see, we're going to need to get the tools I have for cutting this off are not as effective as I wanted them to be. So we're just going to play around with this a little bit. So that's the plan there. So we're going to cut out the shape, the general vicinity of this, cut it down, and then we're going to mate it up to here. Once we get that all mated up, what we're going to do is we're going to use this as our template for where the holes are supposed to go. We're going to round them out through here. So the issue is this is so awkward to kind of get going the right way. We're just going to use it as a rough guide, because if I get overlap As long as I don't get overlap, I'm sorry about that, as long as I don't get overlap between the cylinders, I should be good. So as you can see here, we got like a big middle area. We're really on the actual cylinder head, we don't have that much. So we're gonna kind of like work up to it. And I'm happier to, like, I don't know. I'm almost tempted just to weld directly to this manifold, to be perfectly honest, or just to prevent like air leaks and everything that could possibly happen. I'm 50-50 on it right now. So we're going to try doing this the right way, which is do this, do the template, get it bolted up and put on here. And if it doesn't work, then we'll approach it from another angle. The only other thing I got to do is fill up the spark plug or the injector plug holes, which is going to be a bit of a pain, but my plan is just to basically build up weld inside here. So there's little plastic clips that are in there at the moment. I got plenty of sheet metal. I can put a little plug in there and do it that way using this. Or my other thought was just take the welder and slowly just build up weld inside there, and then just paint the whole kit and caboodle. So, and then the only issue with that is that weld, then it has to take that whole pressure. I don't know. But yeah, that's where we're at. So then after that gets put in there, we're gonna rebuild the carburetor. What did I do with the carburetor? I just had it, oh, I'm cleaning it out over here. So the carburetor is a Holley 4-barrel. It looks like it's got a vacuum operated secondary. It looks like it's got an electronic choke. So we're just going to rebuild this because I don't know. I think the gentleman said this was off of an '89 Jeep that he did fuel injection conversion to. So we're just going to rebuild this just to be on the safe side. So if anyone knows where to find part numbers or anything for that and wants to just let me know right in the comments, that'd be great. If not, I'm just going to do some research on that. I apologize for people doing yard work in the background. And that's where we're at with that. And then once we get that bolted up onto here, the plan is get it bolted up, get the starter hooked up to it, try and start it. If it starts, if it runs, if it drives, we're going to raise the motor up and out again, get everything kind of cleaned back up in the engine bay. Once everything's cleaned up in the engine bay, we're going to hook up the fuel to it, which we're not even going to bother to until we get this thing running. See, actually, the original thought was we would get this pulled out and refurbish what needs to be refurbished, but if it runs and it works, I don't see why we can't just, you know, put this in there with the carburetor setup on it, get the Tremec in behind it, and get it working. I don't know. I think that might be what we do. So we might just get this thing hooked up. If it works, we'll get our diverter valve, our hookup for that, raise it up into place, get the subframe up underneath it, and get it made it up to the transmission. Might be easier just to do it that way and then work on it from there. So yeah, we'll figure that out when we kind of cross that bridge. My only issue is I don't know if the difference in size between this distributor cap and that distributor cap is going to make that much of a difference. Because, you know, long sweep, the tip of my finger is moving faster than the base of my finger. So if we're advanced in our timing, that's going to be an issue. So again, we'll cross that bridge when we come there. There's a couple of Chevy HEIs out there that could also work for this. I really thought I was just getting the intake manifold and the carburetor for this setup, and the distributor was kind of a happy accident. So we also got a charcoal canister, and if you use a Jeep and you need a fuel pump, let me know. I'm not going to use it. All right. I think I'm going to modify the exhaust on the Fiesta, but ST. That we'll cross that maybe next episode. So thanks so much for watching.